Welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program. This might be the last episode, depending on feedback from you, the audience, as 200 rockets per minute, and I don't even know how many EM rail ejectors I have firing from both of my planets. But what I do know is that if we look at the solar sails, we are shooting out nearly 2,000 of them per minute. So there isn't really very much left on the Dyson Sphere. That went quicker than I expected. As you can see, I'm at 201 hours. So there has been a couple of hours since the last episode, but still, this went far faster than I expected. However, there is still, of course, things that we can do in the game, but first of all, what we want to do is go over to the starting planet, where I have set up everything we need to make white science a thing. Science became a little bit more complicated. Well, maybe not complicated, but it's definitely more visible. So what I've done here is that I've doubled the amount of basic cubes, and I have built these towers here, which is 100 in total, making white cubes. But I haven't started anything, I haven't tested it, I have no idea if it's gonna work. That is what we are here to find out now. So this one will accept the white cubes and supply them, and these ones will now start to demand the various cubes and the antimatter that we need for making these white cubes. We do have one technology left for that does require colored cubes. That is the logistics carrier capacity, and I said I wasn't going to take this, but I am going to take it. So we're taking that now. The science towers you see here, there are 80 of them on each side of these towers, 40 on each side, will be the ones that are processing the universe matrices. Or matrices, I apologize for the pronunciation mistake there. And when this technology is done, the one that we're researching now, all of those towers in the background there, including these logistics towers, are going to be redundant because there is nothing more we need colored cubes for. In the technologies, we have the mission completed, which requires 4,000 white cubes. And with the exception of that, in the upgrades, we have vanes utilization, white cubes, logistics carrier engine, white cubes, ray transmission efficiency, white cubes, drone engine, white cubes, energy circuit, white cubes, communication control, white cubes, and mecha core, white cubes. But 2.4 gigajoules. Well then. And this one is repeatable. Okay. Also, the research speed is repeatable. Also, white cubes. Now, with this setup, so long as all of the towers are working, now all of the science labs are working, which they are now, I am producing 400 white cubes per minute. I don't know if that's going to be reflected in here, but let's check. Yeah, it's going to stabilize at 400 now that all the towers are working. The setup that I did here, since you need 6 inputs, was using the these splitters, where I output the cubes on the side of the tower. There's sound here. That's interesting. I've never heard that sound. That's quite funky, actually. You can barely hear it. There's like beep, 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 beep. But I found that doing it this way, it's aesthetically pleasing. I could have used regular power poles here, but I chose not to, so I'm using the satellite substations here, 5 of them around the area. I like that the drones take the color of whatever they are transporting. So this is basically going to be everything that we need for science after this technology here is done. While we're waiting for that, I want the Dyson Sphere to be done in this episode. That's a given for me. I want this to be completed. So we're going to go to this layer here, and we're going to start populating the final 10 layers of the sphere. Or actually 11, since I seem to have forgotten that one. Now all of the shells should be populated, and already the sphere is up to 11.2 gigawatts. And I don't know if I'm able to use that currently. If we take a look at the ray receivers, we're at, yeah, we have 5 gigawatts available of power should we need it. This planet, now that I started the science, could probably use some more power. I assume the best way. That looks very funky. I don't know why that looks like... Oh, because the sun is directly above there. Okay, that's interesting. If I want to do more power here, I suppose I should do the ray receivers. What I did decide against was making the antimatter fuel rods. They are used in the artificial stars. And I do not know exactly how many an artificial star will burn per minute. But I would have to set up the annihilation constraint sphere, which I could. That's not a problem. I have plenty of processors and particle containers that are necessary for that. I guess we could set one up just to see how much antimatter I would need. But really, to make the artificial stars a viable option, I would have to make more Dyson spheres, because the drain of power for the photon generation is pretty substantial, and I do not have all that much space left on this planet where it would make sense to put down the ray receivers. So what I would have to do is tear away the smelting lines that are closest to the pole. And this planet really is laggy because of all that's going on here. And then I would have to move some of that to a different star system. I know that a Dyson Sphere in a blue giant system would be much more efficient than one here. But you see, one of the ray receivers on power generation at 100% continuous receiving, at least with a star of a luminosity of about 1, gives us 25 megawatts. Now we can improve that by the ray receiving efficiency, which is the technology for that. But a ray receiver making photons with graviton lenses eats 125 megawatts. We do have enough critical photons, it's not that. But the reason we have so many critical photons currently is more to do with the fact that I'm not using all that much of the antimatter currently. Well, I am using it, but it's not like I'm using a whole lot of it because of the only thing that's using antimatter currently is the whoa, that was very bright. The only antimatter we're using is for the white science cubes. I have 5 lines of 24 each of these, making strange matter. I probably do need more power on this planet, because if all of these start up at once, that's not going to be enough. Yeah, I have 6 of these making antimatter. And according to my math, that should be about what I can do, because I'm producing 320 critical photons per minute. These 6 should be using 360 of that. But my math might be off, since I had so many critical photons in that tower. I'm not sure. According to my spreadsheet here, let's see what it says here. Yeah, so it's 60 per minute. I'm not sure, really. Thank you. Photon, yeah, 360 per minute consumed. And it's 0 production per minute, which is probably because of the buffer. Really? There is no registration? Oh, local planet. 10 minutes. Why you do this game? 1 hour? No? 10 hours? So it's capped at 360. But that is the use. So that looks like 320. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because there's a large period of time here where I haven't been using them, and I just started up the white cubes. So that might be the reason. That most likely is the reason, actually. So I'm currently using more critical photons than I'm producing, which might be a problem. Okay. One thing that I think we can do then is, I don't want to research the final technology. Let's do the ray transmission efficiency and see if that affects the output of the ray receivers. I mean, this one is now producing 12.5 at 81% ray receiving efficiency. I don't know if it affects the output, so let's do that. And that's a beautiful sight. All of the 80 towers are now working. I can probably tear down all of those towers now. What I should do is set these to local supply. Because I don't need them anymore. And I don't want to have to move them around. So 12.5, 81%. The research is going quickly enough. $19,200 science per second. That's not bad. Is that? I wonder if I do 19,200 times 60, I get 1.152 million. I divide that by 3,600, I get 320. So I'm currently using 320 cubes per minute in 80 labs. Okay, so that answers a question that I've been wondering about, which is the ratio of cubes to actual research labs, which means that it's 1:1. No, wait, it's 4. For the white cubes it's 1:1, but each science lab most likely then uses 4 cubes per minute. I'm pretty sure that's... I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 98% sure that each lab uses 4 cubes per minute. Okay, so it didn't affect the output power, but it did affect the receiving efficiency, which I assume that if the continuous receiving was lower, maybe it would be easier to get to 12.5. How many photon... No, not photon. The lenses. How many lenses are we using? 60. So I could add more graviton lenses as well, because I haven't calculated how much of those I'm using, but they are not that bad actually. Each of these receivers will use 1 lens per 4 minutes, so it's 0.25 per minute. You would easily find that information yourself if you were to put a lens into one of these. So they can you can have quite a few of them, even with a low production of graviton lenses, which of course is important and relevant information if you want to optimize your base. I think we'll take that one. I'm wondering if I should set up those final 20 labs to get that maximum rate here. What? Lack of matrix. Ah, yeah, you don't have the white one. If I do that, that gives me all of the cubes into my inventory. There we go. I don't know if there's anywhere I can put these now. Oh, there is. So the white cube science has already started working on grabbing the cubes from these 2 towers. That's good. Now, I'm not entirely sure what to do in terms of content now that I'm done with at least one series of Dyson Sphere. I would be very interested in hearing your feedback on that. Obviously, Satisfactory Update 4 is coming, and it's coming very soon. It's 9 days left. I am planning on using the desert base that I used for my tutorial series and just continue from there, because as it so happens, I didn't go so far as to produce the tier 7 products there, so that should not be too difficult to use that base, and that would also give me a very good starting point. I have plenty of building space left or available there, and I also have massive amounts of power being generated. But the one thing that I am a bit worried about is the changes that Coffee Stain Studios has done to the oil. As those of you who have been paying attention to the Satisfactory teasers know, they are adding gases. I think it's nitrogen, if my memory does not serve me wrong. And that has changed quite significantly how the game... what's the word I'm looking for? So you have these new nodes, and instead of the regular nodes that we are used to from update 3 and previous, the new nodes function in such a way that you have a centralized node where you have an extraction facility thing, and in addition to that, you have points, or whatever you should call it, outside of that node where you add the actual extractors. And according to what I've seen, what the update entails in regards to oil there is that that also applies to oil. So they're doing the same thing that they're doing for gas extraction, also for oil extraction. And I haven't been able to find verified information that existing nodes will still function. So that's my worry there. I know that you cannot, obviously, you cannot build the classic oil extraction oil wells or oil drills as you have been able to up until now, or until that update hits. But what they're going to do with the existing oil nodes is a bit up in the air for me. I don't know. I've seen some people mention that, oh no, you're fine. They're going to maintain existing nodes, so you don't need to worry about that. But I haven't seen that confirmed from Coffee Stain. So, considering the fact that I'm going to take that again, that my facility is hugely powered by oil in Satisfactory, I have this worry that the first thing that I'm going to have to do is go and fix the oil. And while that doesn't truly worry me, yep, I was spot on. 400 to 400. No, I wasn't. I apologize. Okay. So I actually need to tear down 5 on each side then, to get this to be... Now what's going on here? No idea. Doesn't matter. Anyways, what I was saying is, fixing up the oil, the reason why that partially worries me, even though it doesn't worry me greatly, is that I need power to extract the oil. And to get the oil from the oil extractors to the turbo fuel refineries, and then into the fuel generators. Then again, it could be worse. I could have been relying on nuclear power, which would have been a disaster. So fixing up the oil is going to be a lot easier, if necessary, than fixing up a potential nuclear power plant, given how much they're changing that. So that's at least something. I know I will have to fix up the aluminium, and I will try to make relevant tutorials for that as well. I will also make a refurbished and revamped version of my pipe tutorial and my oil tutorial, which will probably also cover the gas. Or I might make a separate gas tutorial as well, because those tutorials have been very well received. which I am very grateful for. Thank you all who have liked and recommended those tutorials to people. I am happy that I have been able to provide useful knowledge for all of you there. But since everything is being, well, the pipes are going to be the same basically, but it's going to be different how you do various things. So we will look at that. As for Dyson Sphere Program, I would like to play this game to bits. I mean, it's just so fun. Now that I have a much clearer understanding of the game, it's kind of ironic because you know that new feeling when you're playing a new game where you are, why doesn't this work, where you're doing all you can to just try to figure out things. That feeling, you can't really get that again. And I have been cherishing that feeling, which is why in my pre-Megabase series, I was just fumbling around, trying to figure things out, and that feeling is lovely. It is so much fun. Then you get to the other level where I am at now, where I feel that I might not be a master of the game. That would probably be stretching it, but I feel that I definitely know my way around this game now. I know what things do, I know what things are, and I feel very confident about building these production lines. I'm producing way too much. Then again, can you ever produce way too much in games like these? No, I don't think you can. I think part of the point of these games is to just overproduce like crazy, which kind of is what I've been doing here. Then again, there are bases out there that make this base look tiny. And that's also something that I find very satisfying. That, yeah, I've been spending 201 hours and 45 minutes on this save. Some of that has been waiting, particularly in the Dyson Sphere phase where we are now. So part of that has been waiting, but not that much actually. So I would estimate that maybe between 10 and 20 of those hours have been waiting for things. That's a heck of a lot of time that I've gotten out of this game at a price tag of $20. That's rather nice, because I didn't request a key for this game. I just wanted to play the game, and I didn't want to have to wait for the developers to get back to me. And I might even have been waiting in vain, because they might have said, no, your channel isn't big enough, so thank you for your interest, but we are not interested. That could have happened, and that would have meant that I would have wasted days and time better spent doing exactly what I have been doing, playing the game. So, kind of lost my track there. But yeah, what I could do, of course, I could make a series probably after update 4 for Satisfactory, or I might do it before Satisfactory, although I think I should go into that base and start fixing things up, so I might actually do a pre-update 4 Satisfactory thing, where we start stockpiling stuff and things like that, but I need to think about that. But what I had in mind is a series for maybe kind of an efficient start series, kind of like the tutorial series that I did for Satisfactory, where I cut out as little as possible, where the focus is on doing basically showing you guys what I would do, what I would prioritize, why I would prioritize it, of course, and just have a good time. Because I wouldn't mind restarting at all. What I would do before restarting is definitely investigate seeds. I would have a look at seeds and I would find a system that I was very happy with. How was in terms of, for instance, I would not... One thing that I would not do, that I had no idea about at all when I started this series. I just found a system and this looks nice. I would not take a home planet with an axial inclination of minus 71 degrees. I mean, the planet is literally horizontal. That hasn't been a huge problem. But this pole here is dark, and I don't know if solar panels or ray receivers on that side of the planet are running at 100%. If you compare that with this planet, the one we're on now, which has an inclination of merely 4 degrees. Let's... Come on, game. You don't want to do that? Fine. The inclination here is very simple. You can see half of the pole is in the light, half of the pole is in the dark. And the same applies to the south pole. And since the planet's shadow... I don't know if I've ever actually gone into this. If we go to one of the poles... there's a big tower in the middle, of course, but... If you look at the sun there, well, you can't really see much of the sun. Even if we go over to the dark side here, where of course we will find cookies, and I look at this one, it's 100%. Because it can see the Dyson Sphere, and even if the Dyson Sphere wasn't there, it can still receive rays from the sun. Which makes this a very useful place to build these things. Now, I don't have any solar panels on this planet, but if I had one, I could plop one down here now. And I'm not sure if it would generate power here in the dark. But I think it would, because I think the solar panel would be able to move towards the sun, which is hidden somewhere in there. The other thing that we want to check now is the Dyson Sphere progress. Yeah, this is not going to be done within the allotment of time that I have per episode, so when I'm done with my little ranting, we will pause the recording so that we can come back when that is done. 8 gigajoules of power in the generator, that is very nice, actually. So the Dyson Sphere itself, I'm very happy with how they've built this. Of course, this is not a Dyson Sphere. Like, this is not the correct scientific, if you could call it scientific. It's probably more... Well, I think it is scientific, actually. It's more of a science fiction thing than actual science, I think. But still, it's a viable thing, potentially, that you could do. A proper Dyson Sphere would not be consisting of sails like this. And then again, maybe it is a Dyson Sphere for the fact that it is... Can I slow down a little bit, please? Not that it would help to slow down that much. The backside of this is actually metal, so that is something. The thing about the Dyson Sphere theory or idea is that a Dyson Sphere, of course, I'm probably preaching to the choir here. I expect that many of you who are watching this, if not most of you, are nerdy enough to know exactly what a Dyson Sphere is. It's a massive metallic construction where you completely encapsulate a sun. But this is kind of opposite of what the idea of all the Dyson Spheres I've read about and seen in science fiction, where the inside of the sphere would be covered in soil, rivers, forests, cities. So basically where the people would be living inside of a Dyson sphere would be on this outer shell. And everyone would be in the sun at all times. And you would have energy from the sun all the time. You would have the warmth of the sun. So I'm not sure if I would call this proper Dyson sphere. At least not according to the science fiction literature and series like Star Trek and so forth that I've seen. According to those standards, this is not entirely a proper Dyson sphere. What this is, I would say, is a massive sphere of solar sails. Now, if this could be implemented into reality like this, and not a Dyson sphere made of massive metal, which would probably need several solar systems worth of planet mining, this would be an interesting way to power the our own world. Not necessarily the sphere itself, but the Dyson swarms. If we could make solar sails that worked like these solar sails, that would be very, very interesting in terms of powering the world with a completely 100% clean energy. There is, of course, one big flaw to that. That flaw being space debris, because these things would require... I mean, in the game, the solar sails, when they die, they just disappear. Real life doesn't work like that, so we would have lots of defunct solar sails creating all kinds of problems for us, so yeah. This thing would obviously require maintenance. Substantial amounts of maintenance as well, if we were to build something like this. Not that this is something I believe we could build anytime soon, but solar sail swarms, that might be interesting to explore as a possibility. This has been an interesting episode, I think. Me rambling about all kinds of things and everything from series ideas to philosophizing about what is a Dyson sphere truly, while reality is that there is no such thing as a Dyson sphere that we know about, at least. But yeah, I will pause the recording now because I see we're at 38 minutes and 20 seconds, and I shall return as soon as the Dyson sphere is complete. So I shall see you all very shortly. At least for you. Sorry about that. Something weird has happened. I'm probably going to have to edit this video. So, you guys have been waiting very shortly, whereas I have not. The time on the video is completely wrong now. That worries me. I had an issue up here where I had forgot to set this to remote demand, which would explain the issues that I had, or my former questioning why the critical photon on the planet number 1, those towers were full. When this isn't set to demand, that doesn't help. In addition to that, this tower filled up on hydrogen, so I need to make a logic gate here of some sort if I am to continue on this save for any reason. And the reason that happened is because I'm full up on deuterium, which obviously doesn't help. Now, we are at the point where the Dyson Sphere has been completed. It's quite fabulous, to be honest. Now, I could have gotten more energy out of that of the Dyson Sphere if I had made the nodes very tight. Like if I had done the minimum distance between each of them. This Dyson Sphere would have been generating a lot more than 11.8 gigawatts. So there is something to be said about that. If you can sustain a lot of rockets, then having a very tight grid between the nodes will be a much better design for the sphere if you are looking for the maximum power output. I do not want to go to the gas giant. As a matter of fact, I want to go back to the planet. So, let's do the ultimate answer to everything by popping on over so we can have a look at the research labs as they are doing their thing. This is probably a good location, and we'll go here and we will activate this. And in a little bit more than 2 minutes, we will have completed the technology tree, except for the infinite techs, that is. The timer is completely off. I'm actually worried that I might have to re-record this episode, which would be a little bit of a disaster, considering all the waiting that was involved. But if that happens, that happens. Although, a lot of the stuff that I was talking about earlier would be difficult to repeat, so I hope that I do not have to re-record it. And for those of you who actually took the time to listen to all that, part of the point of especially the series topics were very relevant in regards to I would like feedback from you guys. I would like to hear what you guys would like to see, and well, Satisfactory is a given, but would you like to see me do a pre-recording, like where I prepare the base? Then please let me know. If you would like to see me do another Dyson Sphere series, starting out from the beginning again, please let me know about that as well. Although, again, I cannot promise that that would be a daily thing, because I know well from experience that Satisfactory is going to take a lot of time, especially at that point of the game. So I don't know how much time I have to dedicate for Dyson Sphere at the same time. So even though the beginning of Dyson Sphere is not as high demand in terms of time commitment, that would have to be maybe a couple of episodes per week or something. So please do give me your feedback on that. I would be very grateful for that. And of course, as per usual, I should also mention the Discord server, which, for those of you who are not aware of it, I now have my own Discord server. You will find the link to that in the description below, or in any of my videos, and also in the channel banner in the upper right corner there. And I do hope that you consider come there to join us. There is a lot of chatting going on, and that is always a pleasure to see and also to participate in. There. That was a very nice little jingle.
Congratulations, builder of great civilizations. The primary mission of the Dyson Sphere Program has been successfully completed with your efforts. The energy you provided is bound to make the homeland develop with high speed, and your figure will imprint with every step forward. This cluster has been activated. To remember your achievements, people light up a star in the Milky Way star map. Yes, It will always record your contribution to the forthcoming 3rd level civilization. Now please rest a while, and then embark on the journey of the Sea of Stars again.
Thank you so much. Go away. Anyhow, I hope that you have enjoyed the series, and I hope that for those of you who are playing the game, that you're enjoying it as much as I am. And thank you so much for following me. That's definitely something that I appreciate a lot. So, with that said, see you all in another series, another episode of something, I hope. Bye for now.